Hello, everyone. So welcome to this class on Node.js servers. So in this class, basically, we're going to look at how to set up a server in Node.js, how to create our HTTP server, then we listen to a port, then we'll create some routes. Then we are also going to do some GET requests using some public APIs and render the content on the page. So that's basically what this video is all about. So let's get started. So like I said before, in this outline, we'll just cover basically what is Node.js. So we'll look at some Node.js models, look at Node.js core models, HTTP modules, create servers, create routes with the HTTP models that we have imported, make a GET request from the module, then rendering a dynamic page. And there will be a little project at the end of the video. So let's start with what is Node.js. It's just like a refresher's course to us. So Node.js is an asynchronous event-driven JavaScript runtime that allows you to run and execute JavaScript outside of a client's browser. So before the invention of Node.js, every JavaScript is executed on the browser. Like if we go to a browser has these console parts that we can use in executing our JavaScript commands. So we can just say 2 + 2. I will just enter, we'll have 4. So this console is like an environment where we execute our JavaScript code. So that is how JavaScript was being run and executed before the invention of Node.js. But with the version of Node.js, we don't have to do all this again. So we can actually run and execute JavaScript outside of the client's browser. So Node.js is designed to build scalable network applications. So for you to get started with Node.js, you just have to go to the official website, which is nodejs.org. So here you can read about Node.js and how to install it and the rest of them. If you go to this, you can see how to install. Because I'm using Mac, it's showing me download for Mac. If you're using Windows or Linux, you can see download for your operating system, and you just download and install it. So basically, I think everybody should have Node.js installed on his or her system. So having done that, we want to look at basically what are Node.js models. In Node.js, models are the blocks of encapsulated codes that communicate with an external application on the basis of their related functionality. So let's look at models like codes that have been written already. If you want to do something, you just have to require that module that helps you to perform a particular thing. So models helps us in breaking complex tasks and make it look simpler for us. So that's one of the major building blocks of Node.js that made it very efficient, that made it very easy for people to use. That's with the invention of models. So models allows you to actually solve complex tasks in an easy way. So Node.js models are divided into 3 parts. We have the core models, we have the local models, and we have the third-party models. So to read more about that, you can just go to this link here and you read more about those models. That's not what this video is all about. So, but we'll just touch briefly on the Node.js core models because the servers we are looking at today is part of the Node.js core models. So core models, Node.js has many inbuilt models that are part of the platform and comes with Node.js installation. So once you install Node.js on your system, these core models are installed alongside the HTTP, the SAT, the FS, the path, the process, the OS, the query string, and the URL. So these models are installed alongside once you install Node.js into your system. So we have the HTTP, which creates a server in Node.js. So whenever you want to create a server in Node.js, basically you're expected to use this HTTP module to create that server. Depending on what you want to do, all these models can come handy. So having talked about that, now let's dive into how to create our servers in Node.js and how to actually see it working on our browser. So let's do that. So to create our servers in Node.js, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder on my desktop. So I want to do everything from scratch so that people will not say that they do not understand or they don't know how to do it. So I'm going to create a folder, new folder here. I can call it servers. Sorry, let me rename this to, server. I'll call it servers. So inside the servers, I want to open it up in my VS Code. So I will just go to File, Open Folder. That should be on my desktop. I can see the servers, then I can open it up. So I have this server opened up here. So what is the first thing to do here now? The first thing to do is to initiate our package.json. So what is this package.json? So this is a file that is like a bank that houses everything that we are doing in Node.js. So for Node.js to actually run and execute our project, this package.json file must be resident, must be present in our file. And to do that, we just go to our terminal, new terminal. You can use your normal command line. You can use your normal terminal. You can use your normal command prompts. But basically, I'll be using the terminal that comes with VS Code. Anyone you use will work fine. So what I will do is to initialize our npm. So I'll just say npm init-y. So what's this flag -y? So normally we use npm init to initialize it, but using npm init, you will see some prompts, package name, version, and the rest of them. So these are some prompts that the installation will ask you, but I don't need all those prompts. I just want it to create it. So that's why I'm using the -y flag. So once I hit my enter key, so it will go ahead and create this package.json file here for me. So if I check on this, so you can see I have this package.json file here for me. So this allows me to actually work on my Node.js files. So now I want to create a new file. This I want to call it index.js. So this is where I will start writing my application. So now the first thing to do is to actually import my HTTP module. So I can just say import HTTP from HTTP. So now what I'm doing here is I want to import a module called HTTP module, and I'm importing it from this particular inbuilt module in Node.js. Remember when we talked about modules, we said these ones comes pre-installed in Node.js. So if you hover on it, you can use C. To use this on the client, on the server and client, one must require this. So I'm requiring this in my code. So requiring this means I can now use it. If you don't require it, you may not really use it in your code. So after I have required this, the next thing to do is to actually create my server. So I can now say constant server is equal to http.createServer. So this create server takes in some parameters, which is request and response. So this takes in a request and it takes in a response. So what is a request? What is a response? A request is what we send to the server, what we are asking the server to do. That is a request. Then the response is what the server is giving back to us. So any response the server returns back is gotten from this response, and anything the server gives to, anything we are giving to the server in form of a request, this request variable takes care of it. So that's what this request and response is all about. So once we have created the server, we have to listen to a port. We have to tell the server to listen to a port. So that's why we are putting this .listen. So we can just say that we want the server to listen to a particular port and want this port to be like, let's say, 8090. I want the server to listen on a port called 8090. So once we save this and go back here and do node index.js, so let's see what the issue is. Cannot use import statements outside of a module. So we can set this type to a module in the package.json. You can use the require in importing this. So this issue is coming out because I am using an import here. You can use require to do yours, but I prefer using an import. So just here, I can just paste this type of module. This should be able to solve my issue for me. So once I run this again, I still have another issue. Request is not defined. So let's see what we have. We are creating server, which is HTTP create server. So let's see what the issue is. It's telling us that request is not defined. So let me put this inside this. So once I save this now, so have another issue. Request is not defined. Okay, I think the server is up and running. So because I did not put a callback to see if it's running or not, so I can actually put a callback here and just say comma console.log server is listening on ports, which is what's our port 8090. Server is listening on port 8090. So once I save these and I come back and I start this, so we have server is listening on port 8090. So my server has been started. I have created the server. I've given it a port, and I am just giving this callback to ensure that everything is working. So that's why I have server listening on port 8090. So now that we have created the server and we have listened to a port, the next thing to do is to actually build up our server, maybe creating our endpoints and the rest of them. So let's go back to our material that we are using. So now that we have created the server, we can just maybe output something in the browser for us to see. So we can say res.write hello server. So once we have done this, we can actually eng res.eng. This should be res.write. So now you can see each time I do this, I have to restart my server, which can be tiring. So another way to fix this is to import a package called nodemon. So you can import a package called nodemon. So if we go to our browser, so I can just search for, I'll just go to npm.js. This is like a registry where every package in Node.js is being hosted. So I can search for nodemon. So you can see nodemon is a tool that helps developers nodemon is a tool that helps develop Node.js-based applications by automatically restarting the Node application when a file changes. So instead of me to manually restart the application, nodemon can help me restart it automatically. So I will just copy this, go back to the file, and just install it npm inodemon. So this is the way of installing a package. If you remember when we treated the modules, we said we have the core modules which come inbuilt in Node.js, and we have other modules that don't come inbuilt. So those modules that are not inbuilt in Node.js, we have to install it ourselves. So once you go to the registry, once you go to this registry and search for any package, they will show you the way where you can install it and how to use it. So I'll copy this for installation. So if you go down, you can see how to use the nodemon. So but let's continue to install it. So I'll just hit my enter key to install this. And if I go to my package.json, and you can see nodemon has been installed here for me. So now if I Now, instead of using, remember to run this application before I did node index.js. But now, because I have nodemon, I can just do nodemon index.js. So I'm still having the same thing. But you can see now it is watching my server for any file change. So once there is a change in my file, let's say server listing of port 8080, I can now say, and everything is working perfectly. So let me use a template string here so that it can be easier for me. So once I do this, I'll put my template string. I'll put my template string here. You can see automatically it has restarted the server and is listing it once everything is correct. So that is one valuable way or one valuable thing that nodemon is actually doing for us. So I don't need to come and restart the server each time I make a change. So once I save this, I can now go to my browser and go to this port 8090. So once I go to my browser, I will go to localhost 8090, hit my enter key, you can see hello server. That message is specified there, res.write hello server. So once we write a message, we have to end it to signify that we have ended the server. So the server started and the server is ending somewhere here. So this is actually how to create our server, how to write something on the server, and actually how to end the server. So now, once we have done this, let's move on and see what next to do. So I want to look at routes. So route refers to how an application endpoint responds to client request. So when we talk about routes are like different endpoints we have in our application. Routing refers to determining how an application responds to a client request to a particular endpoint, which is URL or path, and a specific HTTP request method. Each route can have one or more handler functions which are executed when the route is matched. So I'm using this to explain what a route is. So you can see we have this domain name, which is npmjs.com, and we have /package. So the whole of this, which is from here to npm.js, is the domain name. /package is the route. So once we have /something, that is where the route is starting from. So the route is starting from / actually. So we can have /home, we can have /about, we can have /contact. If you go to some site, this is actually how the site is being specified. So that /home is a route. That /contact is a route. So different routes. If I go to /contact, something is rendered on the page. If I go to /home, something else is rendered on the page. So this is how we tell the server what to render and what not to render. So all these things are from the request parameter. So from the request parameter, let's see how to do that. So from the request, we can actually have access to constant URL, which is equal to request.url. Constant URL equals to request.url. So let's log our URL. Let's see what we have. Log our URL. So once we save these and go back here and refresh this, we have this. If we go to our console, we can see that the URL is /. That's what we have here. So it's telling us that the basic URL that we have here is /. If we go back and do /home, something like this, we do /home and hit our enter key, the server is running. So once we go back here, you can see /home. So that is the URL. So from here, we can have different URLs. We can have /home, /about, /contacts, and the rest of them. So that is what this request.url help us to do. So with this URL, we can now have our basic routes, and we can now structure how we want the route to look like. So I can actually end this here. So we will continue with that in the next video. Thank you for watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.